What's up, guys? Chad back here with you, RC Models and More, and we are building an FPV racing wing. What we have here is the Sweep Wings Flinch version 2. It's about a 38-inch wing altogether. Comes in 3 separate sections. Got everything here from my man Hugo at Aerial Visions. Good dude to deal with. Really personable when it comes to customer service and stuff as well. Gonna go through the whole build just because FPV wings are all the rage now. I built a couple wings, some with some success, some without. This is definitely going to be the fastest and most powerful one that I got. So I'll be running a 60 amp Cobra ESC along with a Cobra, what is that, 281410 motor. I think this is what he just used at Drone Nationals 2016. Build wings are probably the hardest, and they're probably one of the hardest to fly as well when it comes to fixed wings. You know, you can see I've got a few sitting over there that I've built before. Banshee, Nano Sky Hunter. I've built a Bixler. I've built a Bonsai. Built a few fixed wings. Fixed wings take time. Do not get in a hurry. That is the most important thing I can say. The other thing is to make sure you have all of the tools that are available to you that you're going to need. Things like different kind of glues, like beacon glue, welder glue, lots of razor blades to keep them sharp for your cuts. One of the best tools that I have is a hot iron here, bent with piano wire, so that way I can do my plunge cuts and stuff for all of my electronics. Center of gravity on this is 6 inches back from the front, which is right here at the edge of the actual bay. This is the motor mount. This is the motor slot that I'm going to be cutting out. Where the motor mount goes, we'll get to that. But basically, the first thing I did here was I used some contact cement, spray cement on 1, 2, 3 pieces on the insides, sanded them down also smooth, then applied that just to get a little bit of tackiness. Then I applied the beacon to the parts, pushed the parts together, rubbed them together, pulled them apart for about 2 to 3 minutes to let the glue get tacky, and then put them back together. And then let that set for a couple hours and cure. So then you got a good solid platform to work with. The next thing I did was I looked at Sweep Wings' spar diagram, and I placed the spars. He includes fiberglass spars, and I placed them pretty much right where he says to do, says to put them. I've got a spar that runs the main spar here, the leading edge spars that go up around here, and then one here in the front. Now on top, from my previous experience, I have learned that when the wings fly, even with laminate and stuff, they will start to oscillate and stuff in the air, just because of their shape and everything like that. So I always like to reinforce with a little bit more. So I added a spar here and 2 little spars here and here on the top as well. We're still going to have plenty of room for servos and stuff, because those are going to go probably about right here in this area. where there's a little bore meat and then foam to cut through. On the bottom, I had extra carbon fiber, so I switched to carbon fiber to supplement the fiberglass. So I did another complete spar right there. He calls for 1, 2, 3, and then a double spar right here in the front. This landing bay this equipment bay is cut out and it's really thin. It's going to get like a coating of Plastidip is what he uses. I think that's a pretty good idea to give it some more strength. And then this thing's going to be laminated. But you can see right now, just shaking the thing like crazy, that it's pretty solid. So I do have some gaps that I'm going to need to fill. So I'm going to pick up some Gorilla Glue white, which will foam up and fill in all these gaps. And then I'll sand the whole thing down because I plan on doing a really cool custom paint job on this, I think in a Star Wars theme. I just kind of got ahead of myself here with the video, but I wanted to stop for the night and let everything cure up before I mess with it anymore and show you guys exactly what I've been doing. I would follow his guidelines and his instructions that are online, his blueprints, and then if you wish to add some more spar, then go ahead and do that as you see fit. I'm just doing it because I've been down this road before, and this well being so deep, I don't like, you only have this much contact to work with without there being a problem. So that's why I decided to add these extra spars. So anyway, we'll let this cure overnight and stuff, and we'll get back with you guys tomorrow with some more build. So tomorrow for you will be now. Alright guys, back here with day 2 on the build here, and what I've done is gone ahead and filled in the gaps, as you can see, with some Gorilla Glue and water to kick that. And basically that's getting really hard, that's filling in the gaps. We're going to come through and cut all that stuff off. I've just done it on the top. I'm getting ready to put the motor mount in. From here to here is 6 inches. The motor mount itself is 4 inches wide. So I made my marks on the top and I transferred them to the bottom. And I have prepared the motor mount by sanding it. So now I'm going to take a good amount of goop. I like goop because it's a little bit more flexible. Says you can use goop or use the Gorilla Glue. Either one, doesn't really matter. One's just going to dry faster than the other, honestly. So I'm going to put a good amount of that on there. Put the motor mount underneath there and clamp it all down and let that dry, and hopefully that'll cure up enough where we can get the bottom gaps for the spars taken care of tonight and get some of this stuff cleaned up and shaved off. So we'll see. We'll be right back. So what's up, guys? Back here at day 3 on the Flint, the wing build here, and got all the spars all in. Took the razor saw and got rid of all of the excess foamed over glue. So the wing is all together now. It's really stout, and it's kind of time now to start thinking about product electronics placement and painting. So the first thing I am going to do, though, is a couple things that I've seen in the Juggernaut build videos, and that is going to take some Plasti Dip, and we're going to reinforce the bay here with Plasti Dip. Then I'll be able to do some cutouts and stuff and apply my paint, because that Plasti Dip's going to be black, and I'm going for a gray paint job to start with, at least on the top. So basically all I'm going to do is just take this, shake it up real good, because it's got some kind of, I don't know, some kind of agent in there. Lacquer. It's not a lacquer, but it's something that smells a little off-putting. And just take the wooden spoons and kind of smear it around there and reinforce this whole thing. So show you what that looks like here in a second. Well, so there you go. Really not a whole lot to it. Gets back to our whole frustration with building fixed wing aircraft is a lot of it's kind of set it and forget it. You know, now that you've poured that in there, you pretty much are stuck waiting for it to dry before you can move on to anything else. I mean, you could always start doing whatever if you wanted to, if you're in a big hurry, but there's no sense in creating more of a mess by sanding or cutting out hatches or anything like that. Might as well just set it and forget it. So don't really know what else I'm going to do tonight. It's been kind of a long day, so just let that kind of sit there. And then tomorrow, hopefully, what we'll do is we'll install the chloroplast bay and start cutting out some holes and some equipment stuff, and get this thing wired up and all that fun stuff. So we'll see you tomorrow on day 4 of the Sweep Wings Flinch V2 build. Going on, guys. Build continues here, and as you can see, I have started to cut the holes for the various pieces of equipment and tunnel holes to pass wires through as well. Got some holes through there to pass the ESC wires and everything, FPV wires. Working on the GoPro hole, still have to cut out the motor mount and still have to put in the servos. Get this thing back in action here. So what I'm doing right now is just the razor method, which is basically like the cut and pluck, where you take your blade and basically you just go ahead and cut out amongst your lines that you've measured or drew. Then you can take flathead or needle nose pliers or whatever and just start basically removing the material. The other way to do this is to use heat and electronics. So I've been using my portable soldering iron to make my holes, but I've got something else to actually carve this stuff out and make it better, and I'll show you that right now. What we have here is a hot wire gun, and basically you hold the trigger and the wire starts getting hot. And all I did was basically just bend a coat hanger here and make my connection. Now they sell blades for this and everything else, but you know, the tool's really nice because it basically just melts right through and grabs everything that you need. And you can see the smoke coming off of that thing. So, you know, it gets really hot, so you want to be careful. Don't make too much of a bad cutting choice, or you'll live to regret it. But if I want to take out all this hunk right here, see, that'll come right out. Just watch your temperature. Don't get it too hot. Watch the foam, because the foam's really hot too. Then you can just come along and clean all that junk out. Clean this up a little bit here. Very nice. And now if you want to make a nice flat smooth bottom, you just simply go in there, let it heat up, drag it across. And smooth out your bottoms. And the battery cut out there, so just show you exactly what's going on here. I've got the bays cut out for everything. They're kind of a rough cut. I'll refine everything once I get to sanding and painting. I've got the coroplast door. You have to trim off about 4 rows of coroplast. Then you go another 4 rows in and make a single cut to make your hinge. And I have glued that in place, and that's drying. I've also put in some 3M dual lock, and I have goop in there for reinforcement. Like on other Sweep Wings builds. So pretty much it's just going to be sit it and forget it and wait for all this stuff to dry. Then I'm going to start figuring out a little bit more of the wiring and hooking up the components. So, and of course sanding and painting. And the elevons. So, but I'll probably get to, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. So the camera I'm running is going to be the Foxier Arrow, and I've been running it in a lot of my builds lately. Biggest reason is that it provides you with on-screen voltage. Now, in order to get the correct voltage on screen, you have to have a direct tap off of the board here that it shows you in the instruction manual that goes back to your batteries. If you have it wired up with just the regular wiring harness, all it gives you is just the actual voltage coming out of the video receiver, which should be, I think, 5 volts. So in order to future-proof this, in case my camera goes bad, I'm not going to direct solder on here to the ESC. I'm actually going to use some JST connectors, so that way if the flight cam fails, I can just unclip it and be ready to go with a new camera. So I'm going to get to work on some more soldering. Alright, so I'm working on the receiver and the servos. Got the receiver powered up and bound to the Tyrannus, and I also have right servo and left servo. And doing my mixing, I pull down, they both go forward, which will pull the ailerons up, which means that it will go up. Opposite there, if I hold the stick to the right, this aileron here moves that way, which will pull the aileron up to turn it right and turn it left. So I've got that all set up and ready to go. I think I'm going to wait and finish my wiring until I can actually install some of it while it's in the wing. I think it's just going to be easier. So I guess it's time to start sanding and painting. So this is pretty much the completed build. I didn't show any of the laminate process or anything because I'm a horrible laminator, but this is the way everything looks after about 5-6 battery packs through it. Show you what's going on here. Got the Cobra motor. This is 20, what is this? Yeah, it's a 2814 1700. Got the ready-made RC 200 video transmitter in there, 5.8. High-tech Metal Gear servos. Nice mounting hardware. 60 amp Cobra ESC is right here. I have the Eagle Tree Guardian in there. And I have it tuned now, so it helped me take off a little bit since I'm still pretty new to wings, and to help level out whenever it's really windy out, so I can still fly it. But I've got it very well set up with weight and COG, and able to basically, in hardly any winds, I mean, I can pretty much take my hands off the sticks and this thing will fly pretty straight. Got a lot of weight in the nose. Got the Foxier up there and the GoPro Hero 4 with the case that's just held on with a strap going around one of the spars that's in here. When I first started flying it, I did find out it was a little nose heavy, so I have just a little bit of lead weight right here to take care of that. And I'm running a 7.5 prop right now, and there is all the stickers that I put on it. Everything I got at aerialvision.net from Hugo. He's a great guy. You can give him a call. He'll tell you exactly what you need to get, things that are on his website. You will need to get a couple of things that he doesn't have listed yet, such as a rear prop adapter. This one is made by Cobra, but you can get other ones. And you'll also need your clevises and mounting hardware and push rods. He's got a really nice setup with like carbon fiber rods and everything, but I went with just some beefed up stuff from Sullivan's, and I had a 5/32 rod, and it's working out just fine for me. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of footage, because you don't want to watch 20 minutes worth of wing flights. So I'll show you some of my initial tuning footage, and then I will show you basically the footage as it is flying pretty much as of last night, the 15th of September, when I finally got a little bit of weight, like I said, back on the back, because it was just a tad bit nose heavy and it was dipping down, and I was having to use a lot of up trim to get it to fly level and not dip. But I got that all taken care of. So let's see, that's pretty much the build and the flights coming up. So like I said, get a hold of Hugo. This thing's a screamer. Everybody at FPV Fest, Ready Made RC FPV Fest, loved the paint job. That's where I made it, and everything went great, better than I expected. I did lose my front wing once because I had to do a runway landing, and one of the tips when it comes to gluing stuff on is you definitely want to remove your laminate and glue directly to the EPP and not to the laminates. I think that's probably a big reason why I lost those. That and the design, they stop about right here. It'd be nice if they came back a little bit further. Other than that, that's it, guys. Enjoy the footage. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. See ya.